Hello and welcome to this history quiz. It might be the best history quiz video ever made. Maybe. We're looking at medieval and Renaissance history. Knights, nobles, battles, saints, and some really weird historic stories. How many of these quandaries will you correctly crack? Quiz. 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 Quistory. Which historic battle had the highest death count? Here's your options. The Battle of Taunton in 1461. The Siege of Constantinople, 1453. Timur's conquest of Delhi, 1398. And the Battle of Mohács, 1526. And the answer is Timur's conquest of Delhi with 100,000 casualties. Which of these ships sank first? The Mary Rose, the White Ship, the Cordelier, the HMS Victory. And the answer is the White Ship. The White Ship sank in the English Channel near the Normandy coast during a trip from France to England in 1120. Fun story about the Cordelier. Rumour has it that the ship captain, fearing defeat, blew his own ship up and took one of his English enemies down with him. How many children did King Henry VIII have? And can you name them all? There are 5 recognised children of Henry VIII. Henry, Duke of Cornwall, who died at 2 months old, Mary Tudor, Elizabeth Tudor, Henry Fitzroy, his illegitimate but recognised son, Edward Tudor, and possibly 2 more. There were rumours that Catherine Carey and her brother Henry Carey were Henry VIII's biological children. Henry definitely had an affair with their mother, Mary Boleyn, yes, sister of Anne, his later wife. And considering Henry Tudor's roving eye, possibly more. Check out the video linked in the description if you want to hear the story of Henry's many mistresses. Who won the Battle of Agincourt in 1415? Of course, the winner was mud, with England coming second and France losing. The English crown jewels. So shiny, so pricey, so many rumours from history. One of these things, however, did not happen to the crown jewels. Lost in quicksand by King John. Sank with the White Ship, were stolen by Colonel Blood, pawned by King Edward III. The crown jewels never sank during the White Ship disaster of 1120. Nope, only the heir to the crown and much of the nobility of the time went down with the ship. King John is said to have lost the crown in quicksand in 1216, somewhere around the Wash. Get your metal detectors out, these treasures were never recovered. The crown jewels were stolen once, for like 5 minutes, and I totally did a video about that, link in the description. Edward III pawned the crown jewels in 1339 so he could fund his overseas military campaign. Apparently the following year Edward met his creditors in Ghent, but he didn't have their money, so he pretended he needed some fresh air and he legged it. Which of these is not a real saint? Oregon, Queen Saxby, Chad, Scholastica. And the answer is Oregon. He was an incredibly prolific writer and theologian, but he didn't get to be a saint, because he believed everyone would end up in heaven eventually, even fallen angels, and if people believed that, then they wouldn't be paying the church for intercessions. Queen Saxby was one of 4 saintly daughters, so you could say it was a family business. Who caused the end of the Knights Templar order? Crusader contender Sultan Saladin, friend of the church King Henry VIII of England, King Philip IV of France, Protestant reformist Ulrich Zwingli. And the answer is King Philip IV of France. He owed the Knights Templar a lot of money, which probably helped his motivation to pressure Pope Clement V to disband the order in 1312. Philip then went on to burn many of the Knights Templars at the stake. Ulrich was after the time of the Knights Templar. Instead, he brought down the Catholic Church in Switzerland because of a sausage. Look at these English kings. Who is the odd one out and why? Henry VI, Ethelred the Unready, Edward IV, Henry IV. Did you guess? It's Henry IV who is the odd one out. But why? Pause now if you want to try and guess for yourself. The answer is that all the other kings ruled twice. Yes, the crown was juggled back and forth between Henry VI and Edward IV for a while, and Ethelred the Unready had to flee to Normandy in 1013, when Sweyn Forkbeard successfully invaded and took the English crown. Ethelred returned later in 1014 after Sweyn's death to resume his rule of England. Who reigned the longest of these rulers? Emperor Andronicus I of Byzantium, King Charles VI of France, aka Charles the Mad, King Henry II of England, King James I of Aragon. And the answer is King James I of Aragon, who ruled for 68 years, being crowned at only 5 years old. Andronicus only lasted 2 years, until he was dragged through the streets by mobs, tortured and killed, so I guess he wasn't a very good emperor. Fun story and content warning, because this story is bloody and I'm about to show you a crusty mummy. King James I of Aragon was shot in the face by a crossbow while battling Saracens. And he just literally laughed it off. You can clearly see the scar on his mummified head here. Kings used to be so much cooler. And our final question. Who was the best king? Because I want to make a video about this and I'm finding it hard to decide who to put on the list. Hope you enjoyed the quiz. Check out the links in the description for videos about the people featured. Quistery!